Okay, so I'm with one of my students. How old are you?
17.
Can you come close? All right, I wanted to ask you a question since it's Black History Month. Do you think there's been a decline in how much people read in general?
Yes, there is a decline.
Have you found that a lot of males love to read or do not love to read?
They don't like to read at all.
All right. Do you think the reduction in the amount people read has slowed the progress, social and economic progress of all people?
Yes, I do.
And specifically the Black community, do you think that there's not a huge culture of people having book clubs, of kids staying after school discussing books, or adults talking about books has slowed the social and economic and political progress of Blacks?
Yes, I think that because if you just look around, you don't really walk around and see nobody with books like looking and going to the library. They really just go to the library just to like get on the computer and finish what they got to do. They don't really stop to read. And like people of color, I feel they don't read, and that has slowed us down because we don't know what's really going around us. We don't know how to improve ourselves and anything else of that nature because we're not reading on how to better ourselves.
Yes, and that's what I'm glad you touched on that, because really we're supposed to be reading history in a way that shows us the strategies that actually worked and the strategies that did not work, so we could try to improve upon the ones that did work, like update them for the time we're living in now. We should not be looking at history for heroes and villains. What do you think about that?
I think that is true. I think we should look at history as a learning lesson, and if something happens, we should read so history does not repeat itself. And right now, it seems like history is actually repeating itself because we are not educating ourselves on what's going on, and when it happens, how to move forward with that.
All right, and what do you think about this? If Blacks are not reading and are not writing, then whose perspective are they reading about themselves?
Whoever they learned in high school, like their teachers, their history classes, whoever the philosophy and like Martin Luther.
So that if we would, okay, all right, I hear you about to say Martin Luther King, but is the history books full of the philosophies of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey? Is that?
No, they're not. They're full of like presidents, world wars, cold wars, stuff that is important but not
Important to getting over what's oppressing Blacks?
Yes.
What about Hispanics? Are they reading Hispanic philosophers that will help Hispanics get over the oppression that they are dealing with?
No, the only thing that I've read that was like about Hispanics was the Spanish and I think Indian War. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but did you get any strategies that would help you as a youth going to an adult that would help prevent these type of wars or prevent being oppressed?
No.
Do you think that's needed? Do you think we need to know how to organize ourselves in a way that once we leave school, we're fully prepared to organize as adults to end oppression, or at least take the steps to end oppression?
Yes, I think that we should have more more classes that teach us about how to do taxes, about how to pay our bills, how to budget. Because honestly, quite frankly, when I leave to go to college, I'm actually nervous because I don't know how to do any of that at all.
Oh, well, let me ask you something, because what you're saying is pretty much the status quo thing. Now, is the unemployment high especially for Blacks?
Yes.
Are you a Black female?
Yes.
Okay, so even if you know how to manage money and how to do your taxes, you still haven't solved the problem of how come there's no jobs available once I graduate from high school or college?
Oh, that is very true.
So how can you manage money that you do not have?
I can't.
And how can you get money from a job you don't have?
I still cannot.
So don't you think also to add, because what you're saying is true, I'm saying there's another component that's not touched, which is who's responsible for making sure jobs are available, and who's responsible for making sure those people are doing their job?
It should be the government, right?
Correct. So we're not learning how to organize in a way to make sure the government is doing what it's supposed to do. Because Black people pay taxes, correct?
Yes, they do.
Hispanics pay taxes?
Yes.
Asians?
Yes.
So which means we have a responsibility as citizens to make sure the government does what it's supposed to do. Now, remember when we read about the Transcendentalists and about the Declaration of Independence and all of these things, like Patrick Henry, they said, hey, if the government's not doing what they're supposed to do, it's our duty as citizens
To overthrow it.
correct, or at least make sure it does what it's supposed to do.
Right.
But yes, if it's becoming a tyrannical government, it's our job to overthrow it and change it. But people don't read enough to even know that, do they?
I didn't learn that until I came in here, actually. But yeah, we would never. I try to tell, like, if we came together as a unit, as a team of like minorities and including everybody, and we
Yes.
read, then we could do what needs to be done. But right now, we're all divided, and what we got going on, our beliefs and all that, and we would never become. We could, but as of now, we're not going to become one.
Yep, I totally agree. Any last words you want to say for me?
No, thanks though. I'm about to get you.
Thanks.